him to something that remains highly questionable. What do you like on the show today, Bo?
Charles Barkley showing what he's learned from his friendship with Dan Le Batard, asking people uncomfortable questions on TV.
Vamos, Papi.
I'm totally unprepared.
All right, very good. Let's go. Vamos.
Do the Spurs have a legit right that the ref means KAWHI'S intentional foul on Westbrook?
I think we've reached the point in the NBA where it's like holding in football. You can call something on every play. You can say something was missed late in a game on every play, and this was missed. Look at this. Now it ignores that the Thunder are already up, but they fouled him. Kawhi, that's as upset as you will see him because he clearly fouled him, and that's usually called a foul, and this becomes a three-point play, and then the game becomes, after that, out of reach for the Spurs. But here are the most controversial words ever uttered by the controversial Kawhi Leonard, who none of us have ever heard speak before.
Did you foul him, or did you think you did, or did you try?
I definitely fouled him. But the referee, I guess he didn't see it, and, you just got to keep playing through it.
Shocking.
I didn't expect the sentence to be that long. I've never heard the dude speak ever before. Here's the thing on those calls. If you don't want to call the foul on Kawhi Leonard, okay, that's one thing. If that wasn't a foul, how was it a foul at the rim with LaMarcus Aldridge? That's what the question comes down to. Now, do you think the Spurs are going to hit a three-pointer with 6 seconds left, given how they looked in the fourth quarter? They probably wouldn't have, but I can see why you'd be a little bit salty that you didn't get the chance to try.
Popovich was bothered before that on a Steve Adams pick that looked like it was an intentional leg thrown out, and then Green ended up fouling Durant. But the Thunder earned that game, and at the end of the game, the shots that the Spurs were getting were Tony Parker against Kevin Durant, and they were bad shots. And think about this, because we lose an appreciation for Durant. Durant was covering and bothering someone about 10 inches shorter than him, and Tony Parker had no shot. That's where the game was lost.
Now we're talking about the ref. One call decided the game. I'll tell Popovich, you got too many old people in that team. You got Duncan, you got Parker, you got Mano. It's time for a change. There is a lot of problem with old people. They don't play well, they smell funny, they got hair growing out of places that they're not supposed to be growing out of them. I'm telling you something, you got to do something.
Yeah, he's talking about Tim Duncan with the hair growing out of places it shouldn't, not Manu Ginobili, who has no hair growing in places where it should.
Are you guys ready to believe in the Thunder now?
Kinda. Here's the thing about the Thunder. I think they could win this series. I think they could win a series against Golden State. I think they could win a series against anybody. Also think they could go 18 minutes without getting a good shot because their half-court offense is basically, you got it. Make it work. That's how it goes. But you never can lose sight of the fact that in the playoffs, the top end of your rotation matters a lot more than it does in the regular season. And their top two players are probably better than any other team's top two players.
Well, that's the thing that they have that no one in the league has. Keep in mind, this is a really uncomfortable situation for San Antonio Spurs fans to be in, because that team has not one but two players who terrify your fan base because they're always open. They can get any shot they want. You can't stop them from getting the shot. You can only hope that they miss. No other team in the league has two of those guys. They're the only one that does.
I tell you who is very excited about the Thunder's success. The Warriors. They're just waiting.
Yeah. They're kind of excited about that, right? Go ahead and bring all those turnovers over here. Let's see what we do with them.
Did Dwight Howard help himself with his TNT interview?
Felt like an exit interview from the Houston Rockets as part of a public relations campaign, as Dwight Howard has an opt-out that we all think he's going to use. He usually doesn't get these questions to his face. This is Charles Barkley asking Dwight Howard about the perception of Dwight Howard.
He's a really nice guy. He's a hell of a player. But for some reason, people don't like him. Why do you think that about you? Why do you think people don't like you?
People see me and they've seen the success I've had in Orlando, and they see me now and they're probably like, man, what's the difference? And I think I was very likable in Orlando, and the way that situation ended, I think people felt as though, I'm just this bad guy. I'm all about myself. I'm a diva. I'm stuck on being Dwight Howard, this famous basketball player. So a lot of people say, you know what, we don't like this guy. And I hear that a lot. And, it really hurts me because, you know, my heart and my attitude towards the game has always been the same, you know, and my drive has always been there. You know, I've never been a bad person, you know, and it's not like I want people to like me, because I know people are not going to always like me. But, you know, if you get to know me, you know, I'm laid back. I love to have fun, you know, and I've had the problem with smiling too much, or people saying I smile too much, or I play too much on the floor. So when I'm not smiling and doing all that stuff, it looks like I'm not interested in the game. So it's like a thin line where I'm like, man, do I not smile, or do I smile and have fun? And so that's always been a struggle for me personally.
Felt like a therapy session a little bit on television. You heard right in the middle of it him say it really hurts me, not usually an admission that you get in public. There was a vulnerability in it that you don't associate with his cartoon muscles. I do think all of this was kind of humanizing. You're used to laughing at Dwight. You're not used to hearing him this way.
And it was also worth considering that the level of hatred people have toward Dwight Howard really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, he had a bad situation with Stan Van Gundy, but it's shocking that people have held on to that in the ways that they have with him, to the point where people have forgotten that he was a great basketball player and he's still a very good basketball player. But we're skipping the best part of this. Somebody sitting on that TNT set's got an interview next week for the Houston Rockets head coaching job, and he's sitting there while Charles Barkley is getting into Dwight Howard's head, while Dwight says he hasn't thought about his option.
Let me cut to the chase, Dwight. The reason people don't like you is because you haven't won yet.
Oh, God.
That's it.
Jeez. I mean, my body actually slumped there. Oh, no.
Is Tracy McGrady right that Steph Curry being a unanimous MVP means the NBA is watered down?
Okay, Tracy McGrady graduated from high school the same year that I did. I just found out today that Tracy McGrady is actually 30 years older than me. Listen to this.
For him to be that first player to get this unanimously, I think it just tells you how watered down our league is.
You think so?
Yeah, seriously, because think about when MJ played, Shaq. I mean, those guys really played against top-notch competition, more superstars, I think, on more teams than it is in our league today. But it's well-deserved. I mean, because he had a hell of a season. It's breaking records. He's rewriting the record books. So, I mean, my hat is off to him. But I just think that, you know, somebody like LeBron deserved to get at least one vote.
So you're telling me that the league is watered down when the MVP vote had LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, and Kevin Durant at 3, 4, and 5? How does the math on that work out, Tracy McGrady? Help me understand.
I feel like my father's accent, or maybe he actually said it as Crazy McGrady, which I think is how a lot of people absorb those particular comments. I do believe this is Tracy looking at it through his prism and through his ego, and what he's telling you is basically, you know, I didn't win any MVPs, and I was really good. And you know why I didn't win any MVPs? Because I was surrounded by a lot of people who were really good. He looks at Steph Curry and kind of sees some of the way he played in Steph Curry.
He looks at Steph Curry, is like, how come your ankles stayed together and Grant Hill's didn't? Huh? What about me?
Mm-hmm.
Let me cut to the chase, Tracy. The reason you didn't get any MVPs because you didn't win.
Oh,
that's the reason you didn't win an MVP, you know?
He's right, by the way. Like, those numbers and some winning, he would have won an MVP or two.
Coming up next on my son's TV show, we talk to Neil Brennan.
Yeah, hold on. You telling me Dave Chappelle smoked weed with us to roll in the hotel?
No, she did not know. I don't want to go.
No, we like that story better.
My son's TV show is brought to you by John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer. It's Neil Brennan.
Co-creator Chappelle Show also did Half Baked. Let's interrogate him. What can you tell us about the conversation that you and Dave Chappelle had when he told you, hey, never mind, I'm going to Africa? That whole,
well, 50... What's great about it is there was no conversation. He really took the he took the onus off me. You know, he was gone. In fact, yesterday I was scouting a location, and people were like, have you been here before? And I was like, been here. I found out Dave Chappelle was in Africa here. They should actually have a plaque up on the side of the room where I found out. It would just be me on the phone with a quizzical look like, what? Yeah, that's where I found out. And, and then there was no conversation. So I can't say like it was. I was like, don't go to Africa. It was over before I knew it.
Well, I mean, him going is one thing. Like, when did you realize? Wait a minute, he's not really coming back. I mean, he's going to come back, but he's not coming back.
The minute I heard he was in Africa, I was like, oh, the show's over. Like, there's no coming back from that. That's the thing. There's just no coming back from like, oh, I went to Africa for a little bit, for a little R&R. It's not like when LeBron goes to Miami, and you just like he wasn't getting rehabbed.
Well, did you feel like betrayed, hurt, confused, any of these things, or what was the feeling? Let me not speak for you. What did you feel like?
I think betrayed, help. Yeah, that was all. That all holds up.
But there is that one thing, right? Like he talks about being in the meeting and hearing somebody laugh a little bit the wrong way at that one.
Oh
sketch.
That was a guy, but that guy the guy who did it just had a laugh like that. It was literally just his laugh. So I don't know. I think once you're parsing laughs, it's probably too late. The guy really just had a sarcastic laugh. But if you have misgivings about what you're doing anyway, and then you start listening for laughs, that's another one of those things where it's like, oh, it's too late.
Do you have a good story for us on Half Baked, on how it is that you wrote Half Baked, one of the most famous weed movies of all time?
I love you ask the broadest questions. Like, do you have a good story? I don't know if I have a good story. I'll tell you. The origin of it was I had written a script and had a meeting with a producer named Bob Simons at Universal. The next week, I got a call from Dave not out of the blue, but like I'd seen him a couple days before, and he called me. He's like, "Hey man, if Universal asks, just say we're writing a weed movie." I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Don't ask questions. We're writing a weed movie." So I was like, "Okay." So then this guy Bob Simons, the producer, called me and was like, "Hey, are you and Dave Chappelle writing a weed movie?" And I was like, "Yeah, a weed movie." So then we had basically 30 days. Makes it sound like it was somehow court ordered. We had 30 days to write it. We had 30 days before we had to pitch it. And we were a couple 23-year-old kids, so we took the full 30 days and waited till night 29.
We're leaving out a major detail, though. You don't smoke weed.
I really don't smoke weed. I smoked weed in high school. That is a major detail. I don't.
So what were you good for?
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're trying to figure out.
I was good for well, because I did. It's not like I never smoked weed, and it's not like I didn't observe the culture of it or like what it was about. I smoked weed. I basically quit around that time. It didn't really work for me. But I understood what worked about it, and I understood the culture of it. This is a hard-hitting interview.
Really
you,
is.
sir, do not smoke weed.
You didn't smoke weed.
Yeah, this is hard-hitting.
But the question is, how much weed was everybody else smoking on this?
Well, that was the thing, is Dave smoked enough for both of us. That was to answer your question. Dave smoked enough for both of us in fact, there was a point where when we were shooting, we were in Dave's room, and I think he was smoking weed, and there was a knock on the door, and we're just like, oh my God. And he opened the door. It was in the hotel, and it was Esther Roll, the mother from Good Times. I swear to God, which is like, how much weed are we? Am I high now too? Like, I was like, I've instantly gotten a contact high just by proxy. But she was staying across the hall, and in the projects that we were living in. I'm kidding. No, she was staying across the hall, and she needed to call downstairs because she locked herself out of her room. And then Janet Jackson fell down an elevator shaft, so it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, hold on. You telling me Dave Chappelle smoked weed with Esther Roll in the hotel?
No, she did not. No, I don't want to.
No, we like that story better.
She was there. She was in the vicinity.
I
She was close enough.
No, I can't go that far with it. The story ended. She just used his phone, although it must have been obvious that some weed was being smoked.
Tell us the story in 2004. What do you have for us on young Kanye West? He wasn't this. Could you have foreseen what was coming?
Yeah. Dave told the story of the famous, in terms of like I could tell he was a narcissist because we were in a trailer and there's mirrors on both sides, and Kanye was sitting on a seat, and he was talking to a girl, but there was a mirror behind the girl, and I could see Kanye just repeatedly doing this.
Oh, no.
Like just peeking because he needed to get a better look at himself.
Gracias, Neil. Gracias.
Thank you, Neil. We appreciate it, sir.
You got it, fellas.
My life, I hustle just to get that moolah. And I stack my change up, then go see the Jula. I stand in the kitchen, I whip up that work. I stand in the kitchen, I whip up that work. This broadcast from the Clevelander Hotel on beautiful South Beach, Miami. Time to play the game that is a fraud. Do you question?
You give us topics and events. We question them.
Do you question if this was a happy moment for Sabrina?
Sabrina. Okay, Sabrina is a human being. Sometimes we go to animals here. What do we got?
For volleyball.
Volleyball. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. Yeah, victory is Sabrina's. Congratulations, Sabrina.
Wow.
Yeah, bang. I win. In. Yeah.
Did she lose the ball in the lights or something? I'm a little confused as to how it is that happened. And no, I don't think she's especially happy. I think she had to play that off.
I mean, she looked happy.
I mean, it's better to look happy than to look like you just got hit in the face with a volleyball.
She sold it.
Don't worry, Sabrina. It could have been worse.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
What do we have here? Yes. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Yeah! Yeah, it could have been worse. Yes.
That's funny.
Yeah.
What was he thinking? That moment in the spin where he realized, oh, my wife is going to kill me.
That was a hell of a save.
Yeah, it really was. It was.
Do you question if Andrew is ready?
So, what kind of question is this? Who's Andrew? What's he ready for? What is this?
Yo, Andrew, you ready? Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, he's so not ready, Bomani. Yeah! Yeah, Andrew! Andrew! He lost a loafer of some sort.
What was the ultimate goal? I don't understand what it was that he was going for. The second gentleman that size rolled up to a playground. They should have known. It didn't go to work.
Let me see that again. I want to watch that again in slow motion.
Pow! His shoe fell off.
I love the shoe coming off. It adds an element to it that makes it even better.
Boosh. You know, it's always bad when you lose a shoe.
Oh, do we have more video?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Remember this is dummy out here dancing for. Yeah, they were all his friends when he was breakdancing. Nowhere to be. They got a friend in the world when he's got this traumatic brain injury.
I can't believe that we have a video library.
I get furious every time I watch that video. Every single time.
Losing a shoe.
Time to play the game that owes some bad people a lot of money. See? Or no?
Tell us what to watch on television tonight. We hope that one time he says he's not intrigued.
On Fox Sports Southeast, Phillies and Braves.
No, God, no. The Braves are really awful. I actually read this stat the other day. At Turner Field this year, the Braves have the 7th most number of wins in their own park at Turner Field. Here's their center fielder doing, things that get you that kind of record.
But Freddie was not on the base and blindly did a nice shift to get his
Wait a minute.
take the throw.
That's a good play.
Where is it?
Oh, okay. He's there. Oh, he faked him out. Oh, deception. You expected the Braves to be awful, and most of the season you've been right, but not on that play, Philly base runner. Bomani, are you intrigued?
My childhood was spent trying to make plays like those from the Braves feel like something to help you cope with finishing in last place every year. It's the bad old days all over again. Go to Cobb County and never come back.
It really is. Poppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. You can see that Freddie Gonzalez is digging deep into his bag of tricks. He signaled that to the outfielder. You can make a double play here if you go like that. If you pull that rabbit out of the hat, and he did until you gotta give them credit. He's a hell of a coach, I'm telling you. Freddie Gonzalez, you know, he pulled it right. That's right, buddy.
Fire him already. I mean, Freddie Gonzalez, not him.
You rearrange the letters in Freddie, it spells fired.
On PBS, Nature.
Okay, that's open-ended. Come on, this has got to be good, though, right? This is going to be well done.
A huge lion in your backyard would usually cause alarm, but not in India. Here, in a small corner of the country, Asiatic lions have made a remarkable comeback. And as they emerge from the forest, they're forging a unique relationship with humans.
I mean, yeah, in theory, but something awful is going to happen there to make me sad, right? So, I mean, that's inevitable. Something awful is going to happen there. But, Monty, are you intrigued?
Gotta say, lions aren't that interesting when they're not eating people.
Wow, okay. Boppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. Are you kidding me? You know, that opens up a great deal of possibilities. Now, you see those lions coming out of the forest and interfacing with human beings. They could make good pets, you know? That's right. You know, I mean, you get a little lion like that, and you can take it home with you, and you can have, you know, you can have a lot of fun with them. You know, I mean, that's it. You know.
And then get eaten.
Right. That's the end on. That's the dismount.
Well, that'll be the bad side, though.
Right. That is the one negative of having an adorable little lion as a pet is when it eats you. But I mean, it's a lot of fun before then.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
See you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
Gracias. See you mañana.
Wow. The lions, they'll love you.
Oh, for the love of God, man. How many of these jokes are we going to make? How many times are we going to end the show with one of these jokes?